G'day everybody and welcome back to the Aussie Lawn, and what a week we've had here. Earlier the week we've had some ridiculously intense winds here. Would be enough to blow a chain off the dog, or even blow a dog off a chain. And then the last few mornings have been getting down to really cold. In fact, this morning got down to just on 0 degrees. But funnily enough, there was no actual visual sign of any frost, so that's a good thing. And look, it was really only that zero temperature for a very, very short period of time, so I'm not expecting to see any real concerns, any real damages. We're edging closer and closer to renovation each week now. So what's today? Today is Tuesday. Before you see this, I've got Scott's coming tomorrow with the sand for our renovation on the green here, so that's fantastic. And I've ordered a few little surprises for the renovation series that's coming up. So stay tuned for that. A couple of more weeks to go and we'll hook into that. But anyway, today what we're going to do is we're going to start doing a little bit more with the area of the putting green that I killed off in preparation to swap it out with a Tiff Dwarf couch. So going to introduce you to a few of these machines here that I've been thinking, because I've sort of been thinking to myself, how am I going to do this? What's the best way to sort of, remove the dead grass? So we're going to remove the dead grass as best as I can sort of work out to do today. Just see if there's any centre in a couch that's underneath here that's looking to push through, that might need a little bit more glyphosate Roundup killer. But anyway, let's check out our patch and we'll go from there. Righto, so as you can see, she's well and truly now dead. But there's a few little areas that I've sort of noticed that I just want to keep a closer eye on. Now, we get down here and you can see little green bits, just random little green bits. So what we're going to do is we're going to shave this right down now with a rotary mower. Then we're going to run over it with a grooming reel that's in a Scott Bonner that I refurbished. So let's have a quick look at those two machines and I'll explain more. Right, so the first machine I want to sort of introduce you guys to is my Scott Bonner 45 series that I've actually done a full refurbishment on, stripped it right down and rebuilt it, but repurposed it and fitted it with a grooming reel here. So this grooming reel is has tungsten tips, so for long life, durability, etc., etc. Obviously that costs more, but it's going to last a great side longer. Now, going to set this right down as low as we can go. And I reckon that's going to do a fair job at pulling out a lot of that dead material, but I'm still going to scalp it with the mower first. So I'll introduce you to the other machine that we're going to use, and I'll explain to you why that's the one I'm using for the job. Okay, so the next one I want to show you here is my little trusty Victor. It's the Professional 460. So it's a utility mower, so it doesn't have a catcher. But its little party trick is this machine will cut down to 0. If you had the blade set on the lowest setting on the concrete, they will touch out. So I'll show you that in a minute. Actually, I'll put a little photo up on the screen. So this is probably the shortest cut mower I've ever come across, and I absolutely love it. So it's great for doing shaving on this green come renovation time. So it's my sort of, it's my renovation hack. It's a lightweight, easy to push mower, ridiculously large fuel tank here at 5 litres. Well, I wasn't lying to you, was I? It's a cracking good mower for doing really hardcore sort of stuff like this. I'll bring that camera over in a minute and we'll have a little bit of a closer look, but I don't think there's going to be a great deal of grooming to be done with this, but we'll still run over it with that machine just to pick up the last of it, and we might just clean up with that new Honda of mine. See what I was saying, straight down to dirt. Well, that's just all sand and stuff. Yeah, look, beautiful. And all that dust you just saw then, that's why I've ordered the snorkel kit for that Honda, because this mower is going to be used in a lot of renovation type situations, and the last thing I want to do is choke it up with that sort of dust unnecessarily. So we'll get that. That kit should be here in the next few days. But anyway, back to this. So as you can see, really come on well. So what we'll do now is we're just going to keep an eye on this for the next probably week or two, just to see if we get any bits of this Santarena come back, because obviously when we're replacing couch with a couch, we've really got to be sure that the first lot of couch is properly dead, because it's going to A, look really horrible if we get a mix through it, B, it's going to be very hard to control. But on the positives, there's a few benefits to this. I've noticed that Santarena couch, which is what this is or was, it appears to be more susceptible or more sensitive, if you want, to Roundup. So that's great. So hopefully that's a good thing. Number two, pre-emergent fertilizers such as Oxafert, Oxapro, it does say on the label not to use it on Santarena couch. So I'm going to look into that a little bit more and see why that is, because that could be almost a bit of a weird control method. If I do find little patches turn up, I can use that fertilizer, and hopefully it might actually knock the little bits, and that would be a win. So, and finally, I guess if I had to go all guns blazing and be really sort of, you know, trying to get rid of a patch of Santarena, I'd have to do a little test run and see if I could use quarter rate glyphosate killer to selectively weed out that particular variety of couch. So anyway, some options there. Rightio, so that's about all we can do on that for now. So we're just going to sit back, as I said, sit back, wait, see if we get any more couch pop up through. We'll hit that with some Roundup. Next week's video will be doing some buffalo turfing around at Shane's place. So that'll be something I'll be doing this weekend. So you guys will see that next weekend. But I thought what I'd also do now quickly before we sign off, I'll just show you what else has been happening here in the last couple of weeks. You remember a few weeks ago we did the gravel driveway, so I've actually started to create or spray out the gardens with the Roundup. So I'll just show you how that's looking, and I'll give you a little quick update on the cattle trough, which I've turning into a fish pond. So there's been a little bit happening there behind the scenes as well. So yeah, let's have a little look around the place. So as you can see, we've got a fairly substantial garden bed happening here. So garden bed's 3 meters wide, and it runs alongside of the driveway there, and on the other side it's a bit more of a triangle shape. So yeah, so that's what's been happening out the front. Hasn't been a great deal still with this section here. That is still upcoming, but as I said, my main things right now is to do my renovations on my couch lawn, on the putting green up there, and shaving buffalo lawns. Rightio, so people with a keen eye will notice that I've actually, well, it's not exactly render, but it's a painted render. It's a Dulux paint product, I guess, and they call it full texture roll-on, and it's got very much a rendered look to it and a rendered feel, and I've done that in a colour called refined stone, and it's come up pretty well. Then inside here, for safety reasons, obviously for the depth, got a mate of mine to make me up a bit of a safety cage, so we won't have a situation that, you know, child will fall in or get in there and not be able to, you know, keep his head above the water. I think legal depth is you're allowed to have 30 centimetre depth of pond, so this will work out about 20 centimetres of water, so still got 10 centimetres up my sleeve to play with for safety reasons, and fish can still go through the mesh. Playing around at the moment with this garden hose I've got here, so I'm thinking about making a gravel sort of pathway around the side of the pond, because of course as soon as you put ponds and stuff in, everyone wants to be around a pond and have a little look-see, so going to do that. Been busy connecting irrigation as well, so still got to backfill all this here. This will be a raised garden bed. So basically what we've got here is a irrigation controller valve, which will run to a future pop-up system on the lawn down this way, and a shut-off valve which runs to a float valve to the tank and obviously to a garden tap. Then a main shut-off valve down here should, and it go pear-shaped, and obviously controller wires. So other than that, the yard is looking pretty tidy at the moment. So had some nice follow-up rain, so things are greening up fairly well. As I said, a lot of that pile of dirt there will end up in that garden there, and I'll probably use some of it in that garden bed down the front. Yeah, so that's about all that's been happening in the yard. Well, thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Aussie Lawn, and we'll catch you here next week. Take it easy and enjoy your weekend.